49ers instant reaction. We can call this one the final reaction of training camp. And we can also say that rookie receiver Jacob Cowing is on fire. He had the great game on Sunday against the Saints, and he's now strung together some really productive practices. Caught a deep pass today, 60-yard touchdown from Tanner Mordecai, the 49ers rookie quarterback. It was a corner route, and he was able to get by Jalen Mahoney, the safety, and Darrell Luter Jr., the cornerback, on the zone coverage. Just a beautifully thrown rainbow from Tanner Mordecai, about 35 yards in the air, and then Jacob Cowing did the rest of the work with his speed all the way to the end zone. The final play of practice was a red zone play, and Cowing scored a touchdown back of the end zone, did a little dance with Chris Conley, 49ers veteran wide receiver, and that's how practice finished. So there was only one time that somebody got the best out of Jacob Cowing today, and it was it was Renardo Green, not Darrell Luter Jr. Darrell Luter Jr. got beaten on the longer touchdown to Jacob Cowing, but Renardo Green, the 49ers rookie cornerback, was able to knock away a tight window throw to Jacob Cowing. And Renardo, by the way, I would say arrow up for him as well. We talked a lot about him after the game on Sunday. He had the pass breakup against Derek Carr, but Isaac Yiadom is still out of practice for the 49ers. He's got the ankle injury. He's working hard off on the side, so we expect Isaac Yiadom to be back with the team soon. But in the meantime, we've seen Renardo Green take over that first team cornerback role whenever the 49ers are in a nickel package. So the nickel means that Deommodore Lenoir moves from the outside to the inside, and then it means that Renardo Green has been the first option to come in at outside cornerback for the 49ers. Obviously impressing them enough to be high up on the pecking order for some real playing time here in 2024. More good news for the 49ers is that running backs are returning. That room was decimated by injuries, but guys are coming back. Today we saw Elijah Mitchell back at practice for the 49ers. We saw Isaac Guerendo and Patrick Taylor Jr. back at practice yesterday. So the only running back who's not back at practice right now is Christian McCaffrey, but he's off on the side, and he's doing a lot of dynamic cutting. He's even catching passes when he's running some routes over on the side. So I think that Christian right now, he's just taking it easy because there's no reason to take away reps from some of the younger guys here during these practices. We know that he can get ready really quickly, as we saw back in 2022 when he was in the lineup, 36 hours after the 49ers traded for him. So Christian McCaffrey looks essentially healthy to me, and he's the only running back that's currently not at practice for the 49ers. I mentioned yesterday that Christian, when he's working off on the side, even when he's catching passes, he was playing catch yesterday with a staffer, he says, hey, stop, hold up for a second, every single time the 49ers are about to snap the ball on the practice field, because he really wants to see those plays so badly. So running back room healing up for the 49ers. Mitchell back today. There was a bad exchange on one of those little shovel passes, with those flip passes forward from Brock Purdy to Mitchell. Turned out to be an incomplete pass because it was a forward pass. It didn't look great. I think they probably have to get some of the timing down back and the rhythm back with the running backs, but it was the first practice in a while for Elijah Mitchell, who had been out with hamstring, and I think the 49ers are just happy to be healthy at that position entering Friday in Vegas. They can evaluate guys like Isaac Guerendo, who's going to make his preseason debut. I mentioned it yesterday, Guerendo first pitch to the right. That was actually the first play of practice. Looked like he shot out of a cannon. The guy has 4.33 speed, but on top of that, he also has fresh legs right now coming off that hamstring injury. So maybe the 49ers have seen these injuries happen in a staggered fashion to the point where they can be fresh in that room entering this regular season. Darrell Luter Jr. did have a pass breakup today. I almost incorrectly gave him credit for the breakup against Cowing, but he covered Robbie Chosen, formerly known as Robbie Anderson, on a deep pass today from Brandon Allen, and Darrell Luter Jr. did have a nice pass breakup. The throw might have been a little bit too high, a little bit too far toward the sideline to go out of bounds, but I mentioned yesterday Robbie Chosen, with his 4.36 speed coming out of Temple, he had scored a touchdown. It was a beautiful deep throw from Brock Purdy for a 60-yard score. So he might be the fastest straight line receiver on this 49ers roster. So the coverage from Luter, big, long cornerback today, definitely impressive. I mentioned that this might be the last training camp practice. The end of camp this year has not been as well defined. Normally it's over after the second preseason game. But because they play the Raiders on Friday, so it's a short turnaround from Sunday to Friday, the 49ers aren't doing their usual thing, at least 100% of it, which is pack up training camp after the second preseason game and then treat the third week as a dress rehearsal for the regular season. They've moved practice from 10:25 a.m. to the afternoon, so they're doing the regular season time schedule, but they're still running the practice a little bit like training camp. It's not full pads anymore. I would just say that this is like a bonus week of training camp that we've had with the practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. But now with only a walkthrough tomorrow, so no practice in the game on Friday, I would say that training camp is firmly wrapped up. That will be the preseason finale in Vegas, and then roster cut down is next week. So the 49ers have to cut from 90 to 53. They have to determine who gets the two designations to return. Those are new this year. You can designate two guys to return from injured reserve and place them on IR. They just have to be out for at least 4 games. I'm guessing that one of those spots is going to go to Kalia Davis, who's had to have a knee procedure for the 49ers. And we'll see who the other spot goes to. Ambry Thomas is probably one of the candidates for that because you never want to get too thin in that cornerback room. Interesting note along the offensive line, Aaron Banks right now is out. They expect him back around week 1, coming back from the broken pinky. Ben Bartch and Nick Zakelj rotated through first team reps at the left guard position. Chris Foerster has told us in the past, not that long ago, that Bartch is more comfortable at guard. Zakelj is more comfortable at center. So I think Bartch actually took the first team reps of team drills today. Bartch, talking about him, they poached him off of Jacksonville's practice squad last year. 2 years ago, he dislocated his knee in Jacksonville. And I don't think that he was up to full strength yet for the 49ers last season, so they viewed it as a longer-term investment. I think he's much stronger this year. He's been getting work along the entire interior O-line, and just in case Aaron Banks isn't ready to go by the start of the season, maybe Ben Bartch fills in for him at that guard position. Looks like either him or Zakelj, or potentially Spencer Burford, who's doing parts of practice now, back from his broken hand with a club on the hand or some kind of cast on the hand, but he hasn't been doing team drills yet. It was really interesting, though, before team drills and the 49ers were going through their alignment, Ben Bartch was lined up at the left guard position. So Dominic Pooney seems to have that right guard spot on fair lockdown right now. I think he's favored heavily to start at the right guard position come week 1 for the 49ers, and maybe that unseats Spencer Burford and has him work at the left guard spot, especially since they're dealing right now with the Aaron Banks injury. Did I get through everything? I think, one more. Jair Brown, second-year safety, pass breakup against George Kittle. Brock Purdy was trying to fit one into the tight window. Jair's had a really, really impressive camp. Physical guy, but also a guy that seems to have a nose for the football. Actually had the most interceptions out of any DB coming out of college football over his past 2 years of college ball last year. Turned that into some picks for the 49ers, including one in the Super Bowl last season, and many picks here over the course of training camp today. And a nice pass breakup against George Kittle. Covering George, obviously, is never easy. So that was practice today, the last one of training camp. We'll have another big show tonight. I'll talk a little bit more about Brandon Aiyuk, Trent Williams, all that good stuff. Maybe a little bit more about Jacob Cowing, who's on fire from San Francisco tonight. So like and subscribe. Set the alarm bell for the live that's coming up tonight.